So, what we're going to talk about now is something that you might want to talk about, Nick. Kathleen Kennedy explains how Rey movie and Dawn of the Jedi will be connected. Do you know about this? I don't know about this yet.
I don't know about this yet.
Well, let's get into
you're
it,
our
buddy.
specialist, Nick. You better get into it.
Let's get into it. So, with one of these projects taking place so many years before A New Hope and the other set generations after, will they share any connective tissue? Apparently so. It was feminine all the way. I think what's always great about Star Wars is it's a big galaxy and you always shrink it. And we're coming off what was a major war with the First Order. And now Rey has made a promise to Luke. They keep bringing this up. I don't remember this. And Rey has now made a promise to Luke. And that's really the core of what we're going and what this story will be. And I think it offers just tremendous opportunity to introduce new characters and start with something fresh, because we culminated with what George Lucas was creating.
What? Really?
Okay. And now we take all of that and move it to the next chapter. Fuck off. Kennedy adds that there's been interest in the origin of the Force from the moment I stepped in and George brought me into the company. It was something that Jim Mangold immediately sparked to. And I think it's a really nice compliment to what we're doing with moving into the future with Rey, and then understanding a bit more of where this all came from, because it will be at the heart of creating the new Jedi Order. So to get a real sense of where that might have began with the Dawn of the Jedi could be pretty cool.
No, it wouldn't be pretty cool. It would be trash.
No, but mate, they finished what George Lucas created.
Yeah, absolutely not. George has literally said he has literally said publicly, there's video of him saying, "These are not my movies. These are not my movies. This is not my story." Everybody knows it's all public knowledge. There's no conspiracy here or anything. You can go out and find all this information. It's very public. Yeah, what a bunch of crap. Nobody cares about Rey. Again, I've said this before. I'll be surprised if this Rey movie actually ever happens. They've made so many announcements.
James Mangold one does now.
Yeah,
Indy's gonna bomb. So.
And just to touch on that, just real quick, not everything needs to be explained. You know, leave some mystery. Like in the very first Star Wars movie, Obi-Wan said, you know, the Force, it's an energy field created by all living things. You know, it surrounds us, binds us. You know, that's enough. We don't need to see the origin story and how it was created and all that. It's sci-fi fantasy. You
don't want to hear about midichlorians?
No, and that's the thing that pisses people off about George Lucas's prequels is the freaking midichlorians and a bunch of the other crap he did in those prequels that a lot of people did not like and was not fans of. But yeah, it's I'll be surprised if the Rey movie happens. After this indie movie comes out, I'll be surprised if James Mangold gets his Star Wars movie. They're not going to sign him up for something, you know, if Indy flops. So I'll be surprised if either one of these two movies happens. If Kathleen needs to be gone, the whole structure that Lucasfilm needs to be gutted, and they need to either go far into the future where the Jedi Order's already established, you know, or go way, you know, in the past. But you got to get the right people involved for it to be worth anybody giving the time. No, definitely not.
Jesus, I can't believe they literally said we're finishing and we finished the culmination of what George Lucas started.
Yeah, horseshit.
Culture.
Just say it, culture. Star Wars is dead.
It's been dead for a long time. I'm like, I don't even know. I mean, I love Star Wars, George Lucas's Star Wars, but Nick's right. I mean, you know, George came out and said he sold his children to white slavers, and he wasn't kidding.
Jesus.
You know, and it's rough here. I mean, we live in a rough place. I mean, I was in the theater as a little boy, saw it live when it happened. Star Wars, it was great. It wasn't called A New Hope back then. It was just called Star Wars.
I think what's interesting is in that interview, she does actually call that movie The Dawn of the Jedi, whereas previously they debunked that title.
Oh yeah, that's a good catch. Yeah, very true.
Look, I'm in line with every brilliant observation said here, in particular by me. I'm going to second and say, as Indy flops, so goes anything that has been greenlit at Lucasfilm. Because Tom pointed out earlier in regards to the DC stuff, Disney has all these different studios, and it does help them absorb a lot of financial blows. But right now, every single one of their brands is taking body blow after body blow after body blow, and eventually you can't afford the redundancy. So Disney
There's nothing at Lucasfilm making them money. Nothing. I can't point to one thing.
Oh boy, do we have another story related to another Disney brand I know I want to get into, but now I'm just depressed. Now I gotta go find a very tall building. I'll be back. Well, maybe not.
Tom, you'll chime in as culture buggers off to a tall building.
On which part? The whole Star Wars thing?
The whole thing being connected to all of it. Just they're gonna try and connect the past movie with the new one because reasons. It's a wank.
Honestly, at this point, look, Kathleen Kennedy is in full control, and if she's not, then Dave Filoni is. So at the end of the day, this thing's fucked. It's fucked.
Yeah.
It's shit on a cracker. Favreau is all but done from what we've heard, and it's pretty obvious. Whatever influence he had has gone out the window, which it goes to show what you said. A lot of people like say, oh, there was no Civil War. Yeah, there was a Civil War, and we lost, kids. We fucking lost. That's why Favreau is pretty much pieced out. That's why this whole thing seems to be going pro, Filoni-verse type shit and Rey-verse
feminist verse.
Exactly. They're doubling down on it. Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger have their legacy to somehow try and fix in some way, and their way of seeing to fix it is just double down on the stupid, I guess. So,
and you got Filoni, who's basically just on board with everything, speaking at women's conferences. He's not any better, I had some faith in Favreau after the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, but just like Tom said, I think the writing's on the wall. I don't think he gives 2 shits about anything to do with Lucasfilm moving forward at all. He already wrote season 4 of Mandalorian, and I'll be surprised if he's around after that. Again, if you look at Star Wars Celebration, he was not mentioned at all in this upcoming culmination movie on a universe he helped to create. It's all Dave Filoni. So I guarantee you, he's like, look, I'm gonna do this 4th season. I'm gonna write it out. Here you go. I'll be there to help out where I can. But yeah, I'm done. And I think that's where things are out with Favreau.
Oh, dear.
And nobody else wants to work for Lucasfilm, and people have said publicly.
No, you're bang on.